I went to a secret party full of men. My husband never knew. Until that night changed everything. I thought I was being clever. I thought I could keep it hidden forever. I was so wrong. I need to get this off my chest before I lose my mind completely. I'm sitting in a hotel room right now alone, trying to make sense of what just happened. My phone has 87 missed calls from my husband Marcus. I can't bring myself to answer. I can't face what I've done. But maybe if I write this all out, maybe if I tell the truth for once, I can figure out what to do next. My name is Jessica. I'm 31 years old. I've been married to Marcus for 5 years, together for 7. We have no kids yet. We've been trying for about a year with no luck, which has been stressful for both of us. Marcus is a good man. I need to say that up front. He's kind, hardworking, faithful, everything you'd want in a husband. He's an engineer, steady and reliable. Maybe a little boring sometimes if I'm being honest, but good. Solid. Safe. And I betrayed him. Not in the way you might think. Not exactly, but I betrayed him nonetheless. And now everything is falling apart, and it's entirely my fault. This story starts 6 months ago, though really it starts long before that. It starts with me being an idiot. With me being selfish and stupid, and thinking I could have something secret, something just for me, without consequences. I work in commercial real estate, property management for office buildings. It's a male-dominated industry, lots of networking events and cocktail hours and golf outings. I've learned to navigate it, to be professional but friendly, to laugh at the right jokes and know when to be serious. But about a year ago, I started noticing something. There was this group of men, successful men, wealthy men, who seemed to operate in their own circle. Developers, investors, a few tech entrepreneurs. They'd reference parties and gatherings that weren't on any official calendar. Private events. Exclusive. The kind of thing you only heard about if you were invited. I was curious. More than curious, I was intrigued. These were the power players, the ones who made the big deals happen. And I wanted in. Not for any sinister reason. I just wanted access. I wanted to network with people who could advance my career. I wanted to be in the room where things happened. One of these men, a developer named Richard, started paying special attention to me at work events. He was probably mid-40s, divorced, very wealthy. He'd seek me out at cocktail parties, ask about my projects, compliment my work. It felt good to be noticed by someone at his level. Marcus would come to some of these events with me, and Richard was always polite to him, but I could tell Richard found Marcus unimpressive, too straightforward, not part of the club. After a few months of these interactions, Richard approached me at a holiday party. Marcus wasn't with me that night. He'd had a work deadline. Richard said there was a private gathering happening the following weekend at his estate in the hills. Very exclusive, very discreet. Important people would be there. He thought I'd be a great addition. It's invitation only, he said. And we prefer guests come alone. It's about building authentic connections without the complications of plus ones and spouses. Very focused networking. I should have said no right then. The fact that spouses weren't invited should have been a massive red flag. But I didn't see it that way. Or I didn't want to see it that way. I saw it as an opportunity, a chance to network at a level I'd never had access to before. What kind of party is it? I asked. Richard smiled. The productive kind. We talk business, we make deals, we build relationships. Nothing inappropriate, Jessica. Just high-level professionals connecting without the usual social constraints. Think of it as an elite networking event. And it's always without partners? Always. We find that people are more authentic, more willing to speak freely, when they're not worried about how they're being perceived by their spouse. It's about professional connections, not social ones. It sounded reasonable when he said it like that. Looking back, I can't believe I bought it. But I wanted to believe it. I wanted access to that world. I'd need to tell my husband something, I said. Of course. Most of our attendees say they have work events or conferences. Whatever works for your situation. He said it so casually, like lying to your spouse was just a normal part of business networking. I went home that night and told Marcus I had a work event on Saturday evening. A boring property management association dinner. He said that was fine, asked if he needed to come. I said no. It would bore him to death. He kissed me and said to have fun. I felt guilty. But I also felt excited. That first party was not what I expected. Richard's estate was massive, up in the hills overlooking the city. When I arrived, a valet took my car. I walked into a house that was clearly worth millions. And it was full of men, maybe 30 of them. Expensive suits, expensive watches, that particular brand of confidence that comes with wealth and power. And there were women too, maybe 8 or 10 of us. All attractive, all professionally dressed, all roughly my age or younger. I recognized a few from various work events. Richard greeted me warmly, introduced me around. Everyone was polite, professional. We talked about market trends, development projects, investment opportunities. There was top-shelf liquor, catered food, a jazz band playing softly. It felt like an upscale networking event. Nothing inappropriate happened. Nothing that would have shocked Marcus if he'd been there, except for the fact that I'd lied about where I was. I left that night with 3 new business cards and a sense of accomplishment. I'd networked with people I'd never have had access to otherwise. And yes, I'd lied to Marcus about it, but it was just a networking event. It wasn't like I'd done anything wrong. I went to the next party a month later. Same setup, same crowd with a few new faces. I was starting to feel like part of the group. Richard would call me personally to invite me, make me feel special and included. The other women and I started comparing notes. We were all in similar industries, all ambitious, all keeping these parties secret from our partners. Does your husband know you come here? I asked one woman, Vanessa, at the third party. She laughed. God, no. He'd lose his mind. Not that anything happens here, but he wouldn't understand. He'd see a party full of mostly men and think the worst. Same, I admitted. Marcus would worry it wasn't appropriate. Men don't get it. Another woman, Lee, chimed in. They don't understand that we can network with men without it being sexual, that we can hold our own in these spaces. That became my justification. Marcus wouldn't understand. It wasn't that I was doing anything wrong, it was that he wouldn't understand the professional value of these connections. I was protecting him from unnecessary worry while advancing my career. I was being practical. The parties continued monthly. I'd make up excuses, work dinners, industry events, evening meetings. Marcus never questioned it. Why would he? I'd never given him a reason not to trust me. We'd been together 7 years, and I'd never lied to him about anything significant before this. And my career was benefiting. Richard connected me with a major client. Another investor from the parties threw a development deal my way. I was making more money, getting more recognition at work. It felt like it was paying off. But the parties were changing. Subtle at first. The gatherings started later, went longer. The alcohol flowed more freely. The music got louder. The conversations got more personal, less professional. The ratio of men to women stayed about the same, but the dynamic was shifting. At the 5th party, I noticed some people disappearing upstairs in pairs. I didn't think much of it, maybe private business conversations. But Vanessa pulled me aside in the bathroom. Have you noticed? She asked, reapplying her lipstick. Noticed what? The upstairs situation. What about it? She looked at me like I was naive. Jessica, people are hooking up. My stomach dropped. What? No. This is a networking event. Vanessa laughed. It's whatever you want it to be. For some people, it's networking. For others, it's more. Richard doesn't care as long as everyone's discreet. Are you? No, she said quickly. I'm here for the same reason you are. Business connections. But I'm not naive about what else is happening. I felt sick. I'd been so focused on the networking aspect that I hadn't seen what was really going on. Or maybe I'd chosen not to see it. This wasn't just an exclusive business event. It was a party where wealthy men could meet women without their wives knowing, and where ambitious women could get career opportunities in exchange for what, exactly? I should have stopped going after that realization. I should have told Marcus everything and stopped attending. But I didn't. I told myself I wasn't participating in that aspect of it. I was just there for business. I could navigate this. I could take advantage of the networking while avoiding the rest. I was an idiot. The parties got progressively more intense. By month 7, the pretense of it being primarily a business event was thin. Yes, deals were still being made. Yes, people were still networking. But there was also obvious flirting, obvious propositions, obvious disappearances. Some of the women seemed to have arrangements with specific men. It was becoming clear that for many attendees, this was essentially a high-end hookup scene disguised as networking. And still I went. I told myself I was different. I wasn't there for that. I kept my wedding ring on prominently, made it clear I was married and not interested in anything beyond professional connections. Most of the men respected it. Richard especially seemed to appreciate that I was there for the right reasons, as he put it. But I was lying to Marcus every single month, creating elaborate cover stories, deleting Richard's calls from my phone log, making sure I never came home smelling like cigar smoke or expensive cologne. Living this secret life. The guilt was eating at me, but I'd gotten in so deep I didn't know how to get out. If I told Marcus now, after months of lying, he'd never forgive me. If I stopped going to the parties, I'd lose the business connections I'd built. I felt trapped in a situation of my own making. Then came the party 3 weeks ago. The one that changed everything. I'd told Marcus I had an overnight conference in the city, a property management seminar with morning sessions. It was my most elaborate lie yet. I even booked a hotel room to make it convincing. The party was at Richard's estate as usual, but this time it was a bigger event. Maybe 50 men, 15 women. It had the same upscale veneer, but the energy was different. More alcohol, more drugs than I'd seen before, more obviously transactional interactions. I was uncomfortable immediately. This wasn't what I'd signed up for. I found Vanessa and told her I was thinking of leaving early. "Don't," she said, her words slightly slurred. "I just heard Marcus Chin talking about a massive development project. You need to meet him. This could be huge for you." Marcus Chun, not my husband, a different Marcus, a major developer I'd been trying to connect with for months. She was right. This was a golden opportunity. I decided to stay another hour. I found Marcus Chun, introduced myself, and we started talking about a potential project. He was interested in my portfolio, asked smart questions. We were deep in conversation when I saw Richard moving through the crowd toward us with someone following him. My heart stopped. It was my husband. My actual husband, Marcus. At the party. Walking through Richard's house with Richard leading him. I froze completely. Marcus hadn't seen me yet. Richard was talking to him, gesturing around the room. Marcus looked confused, uncomfortable, like he didn't understand what kind of event he'd walked into. Then Marcus saw me. Our eyes met across the room. I watched his face go through several emotions: surprise, confusion, realization, betrayal, anger. All in the space of about 3 seconds. He walked toward me. I couldn't move. Marcus Chun politely excused himself, sensing the situation. "Jessica." Marcus's voice was quiet, but I could hear the fury underneath. "What are you doing here?" I can explain. You told me you had a conference. You told me you'd be at a hotel attending professional development seminars." He looked around the room, taking in the scene. The beautiful women, the wealthy men, the obvious undertones of something much less professional than I'd claimed. "What the fuck is this?" "It's networking," I said weakly. "It's a business event." "A business event." He said it flatly. "A business event full of men and alcohol that you've been lying to me about for months." How are you here?" "Richard invited me," Marcus said, his voice rising slightly. "He called me this afternoon. Said he'd heard through the grapevine that I was a talented engineer, that he had some colleagues who might want to hire me for projects. He invited me to a networking event at his estate tonight. I thought it was strange, but I figured why not. I tried calling you to tell you about it, but your phone went straight to voicemail." My blood ran cold. Richard had invited Marcus. Deliberately.
"But why?"
"I showed up," Marcus continued, "and Richard greeted me like we were old friends. Started walking me through his house, telling me about all the important people here. And then he says, Oh, and I believe you know someone here already. Your wife, Jessica, has been one of our most valued guests for months. Oh God. Richard had set this up. He deliberately invited Marcus to expose me. I didn't believe him at first, Marcus said. I thought there was some mistake. That maybe you'd come to one event once, and I'd forgotten. But then he showed me photos on his phone. You at party after party. Laughing with these men. Drinking with them. Networking, you call it. Marcus, I swear, it's not what it looks like. What does it look like, Jessica? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like my wife has been lying to me for months about attending secret parties full of men. It looks like you've been creating elaborate cover stories and sneaking around behind my back. It looks like you've been living a double life. People were starting to stare. I could see Vanessa watching from across the room, her face sympathetic but also relieved it wasn't her. Can we talk about this at home? I pleaded. Not here. No, Marcus said firmly. We're talking about this right here, right now. Because I want you to explain to me, in front of all these people you've been networking with, what exactly you've been doing here. Networking. I've been networking. These are important business connections, Marcus. This is how deals get done at this level. By lying to your spouse? By sneaking around? By attending what is very clearly some kind of high-end sex party. It's not a sex party. Really? Marcus gestured around. Because I've been here for 20 minutes and I've seen 3 couples head upstairs, I've seen a woman snorting cocaine in the corner, and I've watched men old enough to be your father hitting on women young enough to be their daughters. This is not networking, Jessica. This is a playground for rich men and the women who want access to them. The words hit me like a slap because he was right. He was completely right. I'd been telling myself it was networking, that I was different, that I wasn't participating in the seedier aspects. But by being here at all, by lending legitimacy to these parties with my presence, I was participating. I was complicit. I never did anything inappropriate, I said desperately. I never cheated on you. I never went upstairs with anyone. I just talked business. I made connections. You lied to me. Marcus's voice cracked. For months, Jessica. Months of lies. Elaborate, calculated lies. You booked a hotel room tonight to make your lie more convincing. You've been deleting phone calls. You've been living a secret life. And you're asking me to believe that nothing inappropriate happened. Nothing did. I swear. I don't believe you, he said quietly. I don't believe you, because if nothing inappropriate was happening, you would have told me about it. If these were legitimate business events, you would have invited me. If this was all above board, you wouldn't have needed to lie. He was right. Of course he was right. The lying itself was proof that I'd known all along these parties weren't appropriate. I want a divorce, Marcus said. The words hit me like a physical blow. No. No, Marcus, please. I'm not staying married to someone who lies to me. I'm not staying with someone who respects me so little that she'd sneak around behind my back for months. I don't know who you are anymore, Jessica. I don't recognize you. Please let me explain. Let me make this right. How? He asked. How are you going to make this right? Can you unlie to me? Can you give me back the trust one had in you? Can you erase the image of you at these parties that Richard so helpfully provided? I was crying now. People were definitely watching. I could see Richard across the room, smiling slightly, satisfied. He'd done this on purpose. He'd exposed me deliberately. But why? I think Richard is setting me up, I said desperately. I think he planned this to hurt me. Oh, I'm sure he did, Marcus said. And you know what? I don't care about his motivations. Because regardless of why he exposed you, the fact remains that you gave him something to expose. You did this, Jessica. You made these choices. You told these lies. This is on you. He turned to leave. Where are you going? I called after him. Anywhere but here. Don't come home tonight. I need space to think. Check into your hotel room. The one you booked for your fake conference. It shouldn't go to waste. He walked out. I stood there, crying, humiliated, watching my marriage crumble in front of a room full of people I'd been lying to my husband to impress. Richard approached me. You should leave, he said, not unkindly. Why did you do this? I asked. Why did you invite him here? Because you were becoming a liability, Richard said simply. You were one of the good ones, Jessica. You kept things professional. But you were also naive. You thought you could keep this secret forever. You thought your husband would never find out. That kind of naivety is dangerous. It makes people sloppy, makes them take risks. I needed you to understand that there are consequences to trying to play in both worlds. So you destroyed my marriage as a lesson? I didn't destroy your marriage. You did that when you started lying. I just expedited the inevitable. Better now than a year from now when you have kids and assets to divide. He walked away, leaving me standing there alone. I left the party. I drove to the hotel. I've been here for 3 days. Marcus won't answer my calls. He had his brother pick up some of my things from the house and bring them to me. He sent me a text saying he's contacted a lawyer and I should do the same. I've lost everything. My marriage, my self-respect, the trust of the man I love. And for what? Some business cards? A few deals? Access to parties I should never have been attending in the first place? I keep replaying the moment Marcus saw me at that party. The look on his face. The betrayal in his eyes. I did that to him. I caused that pain. Not Richard, not the parties, not the circumstances. Me. I made these choices. I've been trying to figure out why I did it. Why I kept going back even when I knew it was wrong. Why I lied so elaborately and for so long. I think it's because I liked having something secret. Something that was just mine. Marcus is wonderful, but our life together is so predictable. Work, home, dinner, TV, bed. Trying for a baby. Talking about mortgages and retirement accounts. It's all very adult and responsible and boring. The parties made me feel powerful. Important. Like I was someone who mattered in these exclusive circles. Like I was more than just Marcus's wife or someone's employee. I was Jessica, the woman who got invited to Richard's parties. The woman who networked with millionaires. The woman who was ambitious and bold enough to play in the big leagues. But I wasn't bold. I was a liar and a coward. Bold would have been telling Marcus about the parties from the start. Bold would have been bringing him with me and damn the rules about spouses. Bold would have been walking away the moment I realized what those parties really were. Instead, I snuck around. I compartmentalized. I convinced myself I was doing nothing wrong while doing everything wrong. And now I'm paying for it. My career is probably over too. Word travels fast in this industry. By now, everyone knows what happened at Richard's party. Some will sympathize with me, but most will see me as the cautionary tale I am. The woman who got caught lying to her husband about attending parties with wealthy men. My professional reputation is shot. I've destroyed everything for something that was never real in the first place. Those weren't authentic connections I was making. They were transactional relationships built on a foundation of secrecy and lies. The moment I became a liability, Richard threw me away. That's not networking. That's not mentorship. That's exploitation dressed up in expensive suits and top-shelf liquor. I don't know if Marcus will ever forgive me. I don't know if I deserve forgiveness. I look at what I've done, and I barely recognize myself. I'm not the person I thought I was. I'm not someone who keeps secrets and tells elaborate lies. Except I am. I did. For months. Maybe that's who I've always been, and I just never had the opportunity to reveal it before. Maybe everyone has this capacity for deception, and I just got caught. Or maybe I'm fundamentally broken in some way I didn't realize. I keep thinking about our wedding day. Marcus and I stood in front of everyone we loved and promised to be honest with each other, to honor each other, to be faithful. I kept the faithfulness part. I never physically cheated on him. But I broke every other promise. I wasn't honest. I didn't honor him. I prioritized my ambition and my ego over our marriage. He deserves better. He deserves someone who wouldn't lie to him for months. Someone who wouldn't risk their marriage for business cards and networking opportunities. Someone who would choose him over secret parties full of strangers. I wasn't that person. I thought I was, but I wasn't. It's almost 5 a.m. now. I haven't slept in 3 days. I keep hoping Marcus will call, but he won't. He's done. I can feel it. 7 years together, 5 years of marriage, And I destroyed it all in 6 months of lying. The worst part is I can't even be angry at Richard for exposing me. He's right, it was inevitable. The secret was always going to come out eventually. Secrets this big always do. I was just too arrogant to realize it. I need to find a lawyer. I need to figure out where I'm going to live. I need to tell my parents that my marriage is over and why. I need to face all the consequences of my actions. But first, I need to say this. For anyone reading, don't be me. Don't convince yourself that a secret is harmless. Don't tell yourself that lies are okay if they're protecting someone from worry. Don't think you can live a double life without consequences. Don't risk everything for something that ultimately means nothing. I went to secret parties full of men. My husband never knew until he did. And that revelation changed everything. It ended my marriage, destroyed my career, shattered my self-image, and left me alone in a hotel room at 5 a.m. questioning every choice I've ever made. That night changed everything. But I'm the one who created the circumstances for that change. I'm the one who built the house of cards. Richard just knocked it down. I'm 31 years old, and I'm starting over. Alone. With everyone knowing exactly why. This is my cautionary tale. I hope someone reads it and makes better choices than I did. I hope someone reads it and chooses honesty over ambition. I hope someone reads it and remembers that secrets always have a cost. Mine cost me everything. Update, 2 days later. Marcus agreed to meet me today. We met at a coffee shop near our house. My house? His house? I don't know what to call it anymore. He looked terrible. Like he hasn't slept. I probably looked worse. I apologized. I told him everything, how it started, why I kept going, what I was thinking. I didn't make excuses. I just explained as honestly as I could how I made these choices. He listened. Didn't interrupt. When I was done, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I believe that you didn't cheat on me physically. I do. But you cheated on me in every other way. You chose those parties over me. You chose keeping secrets over being honest. You chose the approval of strangers over our marriage. That's betrayal, Jessica. That's infidelity, even if you never touched anyone else.
He's right. He's completely right.
He said he's moving forward with the divorce. He said maybe in another life, if this had happened earlier, if we didn't have 7 years of history, maybe we could work through it. But he can't get past the lying. He can't trust me again. And without trust, there's no marriage. I nodded. I understood. I told him I'd make the divorce as easy as possible. That I wouldn't fight him on anything. That I owed him at least that much. He said he hopes I figure out why I did this. He hopes I get therapy. He hopes I learn from this before I destroy another relationship. Then he left. And that was it. 7 years gone. Because I wanted to feel important at parties I should never have attended. I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow to start the paperwork. I guess this is really happening. I guess this is really my life now. I did this. I own it. And I'll live with the consequences. But God, it hurts.